Dr. Stone, Episode 6, recap, go. We start with the continuation of the Shiny Monkey saga that ends with him putting Taiju in the cave with the nitric acid dripping on him, and a thunderstorm rolls in, lightning crashes, and then that cuts to Taiju and Yuzuriha saving Senku, and the two scenes intertwine, and Senku and Taiju shout the same sentence about how they need each other and they can't go on without each other. And it's an awesome brotherly love sequence. And then we get opening credits like 10 minutes into the episode. After that, Senku and Taiju split up. And Taiju takes Yuzuriha with him. They're going to go be spies. And then there's a fight scene between a new character, Kohaku, and Tsukasa, in which Tsukasa obviously wins by a lot, and then Senku saves Kohaku in the end credits. So, what did I like? There's so much to love in this episode. This episode's just primo fantastic, Dr. Stone. In the Shiny Monkey saga, you get some very like chibi kid-like animations when Senku's going through his different theories for the like what could have happened, and his three main theories are either an alien attack, a scientific weapon that backfired and went wrong, or some virus that only targets humans or sparrows. So I think that just because those got brought up, I think it's unlikely that it's gonna be one of those three. I think that's kind of the writers just kind of dismissing the three most obvious theories that are gonna come up about the show, because the first thing everybody thinks of in when this happens, like when all the people in Swallows get turned to stone, is aliens. It's the first thing anyone really thinks of. And I will be very happy if it's not any of those three. But if the writer just like whips out Occam's razor and is like, yeah, the one of the three most obvious things is actually the thing that happened, then I'm sure they'll do well. I love this show. I'm sure they're not gonna mess up hard in any big way when it comes to the overarching plot or story. What else did I like? Brotherly love episodes, always good. Um, the There's a lot of really good music. I like that Tsukasa can just one-shot a tree with a stone sword. That's pretty cool. I don't think I could chop down a tree with a single blow with a stone sword. I don't think really a whole lot of people could. Especially when Senku says that he thinks the tree weighs 1 ton. Like, that's a thick boy that you can just one-shot and cut through. Because it's a clean slice, and it's a one-handed strike, too. Like, he's busy pushing Kohaku back with his other hand, and then he kind of does like a spin strike against a tree, and it just goes down. And then he runs back to the cave with the miracle water, as he calls it. Um, I think that's probably where I'm gonna. Like I said, there's just a lot to like in this episode, and the music and the brotherly love scene they really do stand out a lot. But there's so much in this episode that's good. Like if I went through everything that I like, it it would take forever, because all three of the different theories are adorable in their own little ways and all of that. So let's move on to what did I not like, and uh, I I don't really get why, like, the science flag, I guess, is like Senku's emblem, and it means a lot to the characters, and they shouldn't have like some serious complex dies or whatever. But uh, no, and it's not like Uzura who really had time to make a flag, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Um, I don't like that we don't get to see Taiju and Yuzuriha for another like season and a half, but that's more of a spoilers thing. Okay, well then I guess I'll get into spoilers because there is quite a bit in upcoming stuff that gets brought up here. So, uh, I never noticed up until this watch through that when Senku is talking about how he knows that there are other people in the world to Taiju and Yuzuriha, you get the actual warriors from the village. Like, you get to see Kahaku and Magma and Jinuro and Ginuro, but their faces are all blacked out, but it's very clearly their character models, which this show is really good at letting you know that they're not like just drawing character models on the spot. Like, they're really good at, like, there's a lot of forethought that's put into lacing characters into the show's foreshadowing, and I like that. I think that's good. Good foreshadowing is good. I like it when things are well written. See, there's also when Taiju, or not Taiju, Tsukasa has a lot of good foreshadowy bits when he's going through Kohaku and like analyzing her. Like, he points out that she has blue eyes and blonde hair, so I'm glad that they do point out that she's like a foreigner to Japan for all of us dumb, not Japanese people that are enjoying the anime. A lot of the time, we forget that blonde-haired, blue-eyed people are weird to see in certain places of the world. But yeah, so the fact that she's definitely a foreigner but speaks Japanese is kind of mind-blowing. Then there's the whole she speaks Japanese, but she thinks that the mountain's rage is what was causing a volcanic eruption, as opposed to just it was black powder. So he recognizes that she doesn't really think very scientifically. She doesn't have a lot of I guess knowledge. She doesn't have chemical vocabulary in her brain, so he kind of points out that the fact that she's just a weird outlier, and it's cool that he can't make heads or tails of her, because it's really kind of impossible to like really do the math and figure out where Kohaku comes from the first time you encounter her, because it's a pretty weird story. It's something that you can come to the conclusion of, and it's something that I kind of thought might be the case for like half an hour, like one episode while I was watching the show for the first time. I was like, maybe it's... Yeah, we're in the spoiler section. I can be spoilerific. If you have not seen Dr. Stone, shut off this episode right now. But yeah, I thought for just a little bit of time the first time I was watching through the show, like, oh, what happened if there's, people in space? And then, like, by the end of the episode, I was like, oh, they fucking crash and die. Like, there's no chance they survive. But yeah, sure enough, of course, that's what people from the ISS come down, and that's Kohaku's thing. But, like, there's no way that Taiju, there's no way that Tsukasa could like make heads or tails of that. And he even points out like if she was like she's so skilled with a knife, like she's a martial artist, whether she's scientifically capable or not, she is a warrior. And he's like, if she was a person back when I was alive, I would have known about her. Like, I would have heard about this person. She's just too awesome to not be someone that would be on my radar. And so he's really just so confused. And I like seeing the big dummy be kind of confused by this for a while. And then you're like, haha, big dummy don't get it. And then Senku's gonna rock up and figure it out immediately. And it's like, I'm pretty sure it takes him quite a while before he really makes heads or tails of everything. Because I don't think it's until he's been there for like 6 months. I don't remember. It might be a whole year before he gets back. No, I think it's like 6 months before he figures it out, and that's only after the priestess gives him some advice, a hint into why everything is the way it is. But so I think that's it for spoilers. I don't really know. I guess let's get back into recap. What did I like? What did I not like? So I do remember one thing that I like is at the end of the shiny monkey segment at the beginning of this episode is we find out how oh my god, I can't remember how Senku got his E=mc² on his clothes. And I'm sure if you watch this show 1 week at a time, you can figure out that he literally like rips off part of his skin and smears his own blood into his clothing, and it is the solution to how he figures out the process of getting people to awaken, or why he awoke before everyone else. And that happened at the beginning of the episode, and it's a very complicated process, but it's something along the lines of he remembers that E=mc², and he stayed awake throughout the whole thing without intaking calories or anything. So there's some sort of energy source, some sort of like energy restoration that was happening within him, and that's how he came to the conclusion that the stone has these restorative properties under the right conditions, and that it is deteriorating from the outside, and that's why when the restoration takes place, all of the outside fragments are still left to stone, is because they are just a little bit even after 3,700 years, they're only just barely so deteriorated that you just have a little bit of skin that like flakes off, and then your body's still more or less perfectly intact underneath it, and with the restorative properties of whatever, when you wake up you get restored, so that even if you did have something really big missing or whatever, you would just be restored back to capacity. So good writing. He's had that E=mc² on his jacket ever since Taiju woke up in however many episodes ago, and so they kind of smacked you with a big revelation back then. And I like when Senku is hardcore about science, and literally using your own blood as dye is metal as fuck. So yeah, still can't really come up with anything I didn't like. And what's the big takeaway of this episode? Don't kill sorcerer men or the rogue's gonna come after you. That's a pretty good takeaway. Don't threaten women, then kill sorcerer men that take the fall for them. That's mean. It's not rude. I don't know. I guess there is a big takeaway at the end, but it's just over the closing credits, and it's kind of small for a quote big takeaway. But the whole Archimedes' pulley and doing the math, and then Kohaku has her whole line about how it's amazing, and he's kind of like, what is? And she says, well, not the Archimedes guy. She says, your ability and capacity to just go step by step until a job is thoroughly done is impressive. And I don't think that's entirely wrong. Being able to knuckle down and power through a project and having tenacity and perseverance is a very good thing to be able to do. And it's honestly what makes Senku a compelling enough character to keep rooting for him, even when he does some of his scummier things, is because it's all for the greater purpose of what he's doing. And Senku does do some pretty skeezy, scummy things throughout the rest of this anime, but he is... I'd argue he's normally always in the right. I don't think he really turns into a bad guy at any point. He definitely turns into a morally gray person, but we'll get into that when we get into that. So yeah, big takeaway is don't threaten women, then kill sorcerer men who stand up for them, because the hot rogue will come after you, and not in a sexy way. So keep that in mind next time you decide to threaten women. Just threaten the woman, don't kill the sorcerer man.